Question of the week. What kinds of transportation help us in an emergency? Hello, hello. Can you clap your hands? Okay, let's continue. Remember that last week we mentioned kinds of transportation? Today, we're going to talk about means of transportation that help us in an emergency. What is an emergency? An emergency, according to the Oxford Dictionary, it's a state of danger that requires an immediate action. As I mentioned before, an emergency is a state of danger that requires an immediate action. It means that when we have an emergency, we have to be very, very faster. Now, listen, I want you to think on a means of transportation we use in emergencies. Think about it. What do we use in an emergency? For example, if there is a car accident, let's think about it. Who do you call? The police, okay. What else? If there are people that are injured, who do you call? An ambulance. Good job. Woo, 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 woo. Okay. Now, think about it on fire. What about if there is a house on fire? Who do you call? Who are you going to call to set the fire off? Ready? Do you call the police? Maybe. But what means of transportation helps you in case of fire? Think about it. It is an ambulance. Maybe, as I mentioned, we use ambulance where there is people that are injured. What else? Ready? We call the firemen, and they take the fire truck to set the fire off. Okay, now that you know so about means of transportation, I want you to watch a video that tells you more about this means of transportation that helps you in an emergency. I hope you enjoyed the video. Bye!
What kinds of transportation help us in an emergency? You may have seen these emergency vehicles at one time or another. You can always recognize them by the familiar noises they make. But fire trucks, police cars, and ambulances are not the only rescue vehicles. Some rescues are performed using airplanes and helicopters. Pilots carefully navigate these aircraft to try to rescue those in danger. Sailors aboard Coast Guard yachts help anyone who is involved in an emergency on the water. With all the different vehicles used for emergencies, it's no surprise that mechanics are an important part of any rescue team. If it weren't for mechanics, none of these vehicles would be in top shape to race to the site of an emergency. This week, you will learn how people use emergency transportation in a rescue. What kinds of transportation can you think of that help us in an emergency?